Hello and welcome to another episode of Pull Yourself to Pieces with Bill and Ray, and we are, which is not too often, we are right here. I mean, like right here, like we're both right here.
We're in the same room for
We're in the
once.
same room. Yes, thank you.
Yes.
You know, we're
Yes.
like face to face. Although,
Well, ass to face.
yeah, I can only take so much, and then
Yeah.
gotta
Then you
spin
have to turn
around.
around. Then you
Right.
have to turn around. Yeah, me too. So soon we'll be
So
back to back. What?
yes, so you're here. Hey,
I am.
that's right.
Yeah, I made it.
We do this every once in a while, right? Where we're like we're in
Yeah.
the same room and we can just stare at each other all day. No,
Yeah, that's you're scaring me now, Bill. Don't stare at me.
Don't st-
You're like a mental patient.
you ever just stares at you and doesn't say a word.
Yeah,
Know?
that's scary.
It's even scarier.
I get that a lot in Virginia. People just stare at you like, hello.
What do you do? What do you do about that? Do you stare back? You don't look. You don't do eye contact, right?
I mean, I could stare back. Just be.
You
Just
could have a
immediately-
scary stare too. You. Yeah.
I know.
People
I
don't know.
I
You're a fairly big guy. You could be intimidating.
I know, and I don't mean to be, but I come off as intimidating.
Right.
Well, it's my
right.
it's my resting bitch face. If I'm not smiling,
My
I look like
resting- there it is.
if I'm not smiling,
Right.
I look like I'm about to rip your arms off your body.
Oh
And
my gosh.
that's not who I am at all.
Right.
And
No.
everyone who knows me knows I'm just a big, lovable teddy bear. But when I'm not
Not
smiling,
how I would
boy,
describe it, but yeah, pretty much close. All right.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're enjoying your trip here?
The trip. Oh God, the trip was fine until I get 10 miles from New York, and then then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
It was horrible. It took an hour to get from one end of Manhattan to the other. And that's like what, 10 blocks, 12 blocks at best?
Right.
Yeah, an hour.
It's true.
I'm
It's
sitting
true.
there. I'm
Manhattan is not as
watching
big
the
as
li-
people think,
It's like 12 blocks across and you're there.
yeah.
From one end, from the east side to the west side.
It really is an
so-
ant colony. Just like
Oh,
everybody
my
packed in.
God.
It really
And-
is.
And I'm sitting there and nothing moves, right? Everybody's double parked, nothing moves. You
Right.
sit there and you watch the traffic light go from green.
Right.
You've got the green, nobody moves, and then it's red.
It's kind of like
And then
a toy car game. You can almost picture like a bunch of cars in like you're playing with cars, right? And the next
Yeah.
car just kind of pushes all the other ones. Like then the
I
last
wish.
guy is coming, push, and it's like a domino, like push. It's got the cars one car at a time, just getting pushed, and then we're finally off the island. Okay, we made it. Now we're onto a bridge. We're going to
I'm
sit
sit-
on a bridge for a while until we go into the wonderful Long Island Expressway. For those who don't know, you're in Virginia, I'm in New York, and you'd make a trip. That's 400 miles or something like that, right? So
The way I went, closer to 5.
yeah, I would assume though. I mean, look, we have a lot of people here, a lot of people in the city, a lot of people, in the suburbs, and a lot of people on the island, right? So
Yeah.
I'm trying to sort of make an excuse on why it's so much traffic all the time. I would think though that I don't know what I know you said you didn't make the trip where you went around Washington this time, and that's kind of like a real traffic jam.
You
Again,
gotta
I feel
time
like
that,
certain
you have to
areas
time
where
that
there's lots of
just right.
people. Yeah,
You
that's
got
I
to
get you.
time
Right.
Washington just right.
Right. I think the best time for expressway is like 12 midnight.
That's the only time for the expressway.
Right.
And even then, there'll be cars on it. It's not going to
Yeah.
be dead.
I know, right? I've been on there 11 o'clock at night, and I'm like, really? Where are we?
Mhm.
And I'm like, I've even said to myself, well, we're on here, but you're like, where is everybody
Yeah.
going? Then you're like, you're there too, and you're like, well, I'm here.
Yeah.
I
Well-
never. I don't know.
I'm sitting watching the light turn green and red like 3 times, and we're not moving at all.
Oh,
And then what comes up behind me is an ambulance with the thing
behind you.
right behind me with the siren. And I'm like, I throw my hands up like, where the hell you want me to go? There's nowhere for me to go.
Yeah.
Literally, I can't
Yeah.
go left. I can't go right. This
Yeah,
car's double
I'm
blocked.
right into the next person ahead of me.
I mean, seriously, all the cars in front of me, nobody's moving, and all I kept thinking about is that guy's gonna die. Who's ever back there, whoever it is, man, woman, they're gonna die because this ambulance is not gonna get through.
Yeah.
So, and it's still with the siren, bloop, bloop, and again, I throw my hands up like, where the hell you want me to go? This is not a flying car, and so
Oh,
the
if it was,
people
you
in-
wouldn't be there.
Yeah, no shit. Anyway, the people in front of me start moving slowly to the left to make some room. So the
They
guy in
had
front of me moves like 2 feet. I'm like, that's not enough. So he
really?
creeps. The person in front of him starts to creep. The guy in front of me starts to creep. I move a little bit to the left. Still not enough room. Now the ambulance is right up my ass. Once you get past, and I'm like,
Yeah.
sorry. Again,
And,
no, there's nowhere for me to go.
and you got a little
There's no
car. I mean,
shoulder.
it's not
No,
a,
but there's no shoulder. There's
right,
nothing. It's
right.
one lane. Okay, it's a one lane road at this point. Why? Because you have every other car is double parked. So if all those cars were in double parked, it would be 2 lanes, but it's only one. So
Yeah.
finally, the car in front of me, the car in front of him, and in front of him, and in front of him, finally started to move, and we moved like a snake. So we all kind of moved to the left a little bit more, a little inches, and all of a sudden, I see this guy go by me, and and the siren, and I'm like, and so you know what happened then?
No.
All the
What?
people that were behind the ambulance jumped up into where we were and took our place. So now we're cut off.
Ooh.
They cut us off. They all moved forward to fill in the slot that we just made.
Yeah, how
and now we
rude.
had
Yeah.
and now we had to try and get back onto the road to keep going straight when the light turns green.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm
Don't
like,
you
are
love that
kidding?
rudeness? Wow.
Yeah, no, again. So
You think
yeah,
that's just
finally
New
made
York?
it.
You think that's everywhere? I think it's everywhere.
No, that's just New York.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's just New
Really?
York.
All
Yeah.
right, maybe you're right.
I think so.
I haven't been to
I-
enough states to see it, but I just always feel like when you go to crowded cities,
Yeah.
like everybody's an idiot. I don't know.
Just New Yorker. No, I think it's just New Yorkers.
Really?
Yeah.
Your big city is what near you? Richmond?
That's my yes.
When you go in there, you don't see a lot of, idiot
Um,
driving?
We have our share,
Okay.
but people are just slightly more civil here.
Okay. There you go.
People will wave you in. They'll let you cut
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
But there, no. Like I
Yeah.
said, like vultures. They couldn't wait to take my spot.
All to go what and sit 5
Again.
feet ahead in dead to
Right.
stop traffic.
Right,
Oh, I got a car.
exactly.
I got ahead a car. Woo! Yeah.
Right, exactly. And really just cut off like 3 of us. We were all
Yeah.
on the
Well,
side
who cares
of the road.
about that? I got ahead.
Yeah, right. I got ahead. That's all.
You
that
didn't get
matters.
anywhere.
No, I know. I know.
You never do. Cutting off
All
and
right.
speeding never gets you anywhere.
All right. Well, anyway, so here.
Anyway.
Anyhow, so we need to take a break because we're coming up with a segment.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good.
All righty.
I'm glad you just thought of that. We'll be
we'll
right
be-
back.
Sit tight. We'll be back.
Pull Yourself to Pieces will now give you about 30 seconds of silence in order to get our dead air out of the way and to have a smooth flowing show. Here we go. Okay. As I've said, I don't know, maybe 60 times now. 'cause
I
we've
didn't ask
done-
you.
I'm just saying, before
I
you
didn't ask
say
you.
it,
I didn't ask you.
that the mics are off. There's nothing going out over the air.
You're full of
We're
it.
in private mode.
I don't
okay.
believe you.
We're in private mode. I'm
You do
telling
this
you.
to me you do it every time. You do it to
No,
me every
no.
single time.
You never believe it, and it's in
And like
private mode.
and,
no
and
one
like
can hear.
and like Charlie Brown watching Lucy hold the football. I come running. You take the football away, and I fall on my ass every time because I trust you, and I know I shouldn't.
And you should. You should.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
no one can hear us. What we're saying
Okay,
right now is
fine.
not
No
going
one-
over the air. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Okay. Yeah.
while we're
Yeah.
in this moment, I
Yes.
just want to ask,
Yeah.
how has your trip been so far?
Oh God. Well, besides taking forever to get there, the accommodations where I'm at, they're not great at all. Yeah.
Wh-
The accommodations are horrible. I have to say.
How?
Well, the maid doesn't come and clean the room.
Ma-
I put my wash out there, in the hallway in the little thing that they give you,
Oh my
so
God.
that they'll take it to the laundromat and wash my pants and my shirts. I ask for a wake up call every morning. The wake up call doesn't come.
Wake up call.
The air conditioner in my room sounds like a jet engine. I'm like, are you kidding? There's hair in the bathtub.
Wow.
I go down to get
Wow.
breakfast, and it says continental breakfast, but I'm like, really? You're gonna throw a stale donut at me and some cold coffee? I mean,
The
gee
nerve.
whiz.
The
That's unbelievable, Bill. It's the worst accommodations ever.
You, You do remember and realize you're staying with me
I know. That's
in
what's
my
sad.
house.
All right. Oh, you know what? I think our time's
Oh, all right. Okay.
all right.
This is Bill, and you're listening to Pull Yourself to Pieces, the podcast, hosted on Anchor. You never heard of Anchor? Anchor by Spotify is a podcast host platform, and it's an easy way to make a podcast. We picked Anchor because they have everything we needed all in one place. You can record and edit a podcast from your computer or even right from your phone. Then you can have your podcast distributed easily to multiple platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and much more. And did I mention it's free? That's right. Anchor is free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
And we're back.
That's right. We're back.
So I would like to continue the conversation we had a few days ago when you and I were talking about how many people we have lost this year in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Musicians,
I know.
actors,
Right.
actresses.
Yeah.
I mean,
eventually everyone's going to die, though. Just want to make sure, I don't want you to feel you forgot that.
Didn't you're the one that said, yeah, thanks for reminding me. I got 5 years on you, so I'm probably going to go first. Anyway,
I don't know.
you were the one that said 100 years from now, pretty much everybody that's alive now will be dead.
I think
And
about that all the time, and I get weird looks sometimes when people are like, what? And I'm like, well, think about that. Just let's say even 120. I give someone the benefit of the doubt of living to 120. Someone who's born
Yeah.
right at this minute.
Yeah.
Every one of us is going to be gone. It's not a long.
Yeah.
It's such a tiny little blip in the amount of time of the earth. You know what I mean?
Well, the world changes hands so many times, apparently.
The world changes hands, and it will change it roughly every 100 years.
Yes, it will.
Right. How crazy is
that?
So
you and I were talking about how many celebrities we've lost and singers.
I know.
And it just keeps piling up and piling
and some
up
hurt
and piling
this
up.
year. Some hurt recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be honest with you. So you and I are big movie fans. We love movies. That's our big thing. Besides music, we really love movies.
That's true.
And I have Tubi because it's free because I'm cheap. And I
That's working out for you,
browse
isn't it?
Tubi. It is, yeah. Cheap is the best.
You just got it. It's so funny. I don't want you to lose the point where you are, but I think it's funny that years ago, it's been a long time, right? Where you were like, I'm going to unplug, right? And you're like, you unplugged.
Yes,
meaning
I did.
Like you're right. You took off regular TV.
Right. I gave up television in 2003 completely.
Right. Now you didn't watch anything at all.
Nothing. First of all, I had no TV, so I gave up TV. I didn't have a TV.
Right. TV. Now, but you had internet.
No.
Oh.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. No, I had internet. Yes.
You had internet
for my computer. Yes.
Right. So you had some way of some sort of communication, but you didn't have traditional TV.
Yes, but we weren't streaming then. There was no such thing as streaming.
Right. Then streaming, Netflix was one of the first ones.
Well,
I don't know who was the first ones, but
I don't know. But anyway, I ended up buying a TV just to watch movies because there was still Blockbuster.
Right. You could still rent movies. Remember that?
There was Redbox.
Right.
There was Netflix would send you movies in the mail.
Oh, right. That's how they started doing.
Netflix would send you movies in the mail.
Right.
So I bought a TV just to watch movies.
Right.
And I had some of my own. I had a Laserdisc player, so I had like 50 Laserdiscs. So I had a lot of movies. And you and I were talking about, I just recently started to look and search on Tubi, and there's a lot of older movies from the 70s.
Sure.
And some classics from the 60s and a lot of 80s films. And of course, all the 80s films have a lot of bad electronic music. All the women have really big hair.
Yeah.
The men dressed like pimps. It's just, and I sit there and I think, oh, here's a comedy. There's some stars I know. It's a comedy. I'll sit and watch it. And I get maybe 15 minutes into it, and then I want to vomit because what I might have found funny in 1982, I no longer find funny.
Right.
And
like, you got an example of
gosh, there was a movie called Real Men. All right, Real Men.
I think I've heard the name.
It starred Jim Belushi and John Ritter, and it's supposed to be a comedy.
I think that's supposed to be.
Jim Belushi, John Ritter. Oh, it sounds like, this could be good.
Right.
The movie came out in 87, so Jim Belushi had just basically hit the stage, basically,
Sure.
I mean, he hadn't done a lot of movies prior to that, so, but I'm like, let me give this a shot. I put it on, and it was one of the most predictable movies I'd ever seen. You knew what lines were coming before they even said them. It
Right.
wasn't really funny, and I ended up watching 3/4 of this movie because I thought, "All right, it'll get funny. Keep watching, it'll get funny. Keep watching, keep watching, keep." It's like a train wreck. You can't look.
Oh,
You can't look away.
yeah.
And at the last 15 minutes of the movie, I didn't care what happened anymore at that point. I basically shut the movie down and got rid of it. I discarded it.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't even watch the whole thing.
Now that's the middle to late 80s. Give me an example of
I
a middle to late 80s comedy that you
Yeah,
have seen, let's say within
yeah.
the last couple of years that you're like, "Oh, this holds up really well." Would you
Alright.
say something like Tootsie?
Oh, yes.
Right. So isn't it
Tootsie
amazing? It amazes me that in the same time frame, right?
Yeah.
You can have movies that hold up and movies that don't.
Yes.
We can go
Oh, and
back. In fact, I can go back 20 years from then, Ray. Go to like the mid 60s and a movie that you
well,
and I
let's
both
well, let's
love.
well, let's well, let's talk about that.
Funny thing
So,
happened on the way to the forum.
there you
Okay.
go,
Mid
classic.
60s movie. I've
Yeah,
watched it even just a couple years ago.
yes.
Always holds up, always
It's
hilarious, just
still
well
funny.
done. It's just is it these directors are just they're like ahead of their time because it's all matter of
Perspective. It's your
but it's
personal
also a matter of
perspective.
like I don't know what it is, but these guys, these movies that hold up, there's like a vision. I don't know. It's like it's almost like there's an alien in there or something. I don't know what it is, but these guys just like ahead of their time. The
Yeah,
pacing,
yeah.
the cutting, the shots
Yes,
they use,
yes,
their timing.
yes. Well,
I don't
again,
know. I don't know what it is.
when you've got a cast of that many professional funny men, that movie has to be good. There's no
Yeah,
way that movie could not be funny and hysterical.
yeah,
That's a movie that holds up today. That's a movie that was funny then, still funny now.
yeah,
Let's
yeah.
go back even a little bit further to the classic. It's a mad, 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 mad world. All
Right.
right.
Yeah.
You got you've got a cast of about 30 to 35 funny
Hell yeah.
people.
Right.
And that's all they are. They're funny people.
Right.
Yes, you have a couple of dramatic actors in there, but they're mostly comedians.
Right.
Now that movie's funny from start to finish. Granted, it's a little slow in spots,
A
but I
little
mean
bit.
there are parts in that movie that are absolutely hysterical.
Right.
And when I watch it, I still laugh. I don't look at that movie and go, "This isn't funny. Why did I think this was funny?" I still laugh at that movie.
It's not just a
Um,
matter of the comedy, it's a matter of the pacing, you know?
yeah.
Um, I, I've watched, I think it was the original Pink Panther, the one from, like, in the early '60s.
Yes, with
The
Peter
pacing is a
Sellers.
little painful, I gotta admit.
Yes, it
The
is
pacing is a little
slow.
painful. So I'm like, I could get through this, but it's like,
Yes.
when you're younger and you have a different vision of what you remember something being like, I guess,
Right.
and it's really has to do with the pacing,
Now, the
and
Pink the
yeah,
Pink Panther is the first in the series, and it's not the best. It's actually
that's
not
true
the
too.
funniest.
No, that's true
But
too. You're
a
right.
sequel, A Shot in the Dark, now that movie's absolutely hysterical. That has a lot of funny moments. And again,
Oh, it
I
does.
watched that. Oh yeah, I watched that movie and I still laugh today.
You do.
That
I
that
will
movie hold
laugh, but there is definitely a little bit of dragginess in that movie.
Yes,
Also, I don't, again, it's the styles of the times,
yes.
but maybe because you know it- it's a it's a mad world,
Yeah,
and funny thing happened way to the forum.
yeah,
One's like this like this chase action comedy thing, and the other one
yes,
is a musical. Maybe that's why
yeah.
they move along differently. But
Uh-huh.
we're all talking mainly comedies. I mean, you and I can diverse here, and we can talk about dramas or
Yes,
other kind of things. I mean,
yes.
I remember being a kid, and in early '70s, I watched in the theater and at home Fiddler on the Roof, the musical.
Yeah,
Long movie. I thought it was
yeah,
really good as a kid. I tried to
yeah.
watch it like about a month or two ago. I was like, "Oh my god, I can't make it past 10 minutes." I was like, the
Really?
pacing was killing me.
Oh,
Killed me. It
yeah.
was it was torturous. I had to turn it off and I'm like, "What was I thinking?" And then I think about like the same year Willy Wonka was made. I've watched that just a couple of years ago and I'm like, "That movie's so entertaining," you know? There's a couple of few
It is,
songs,
and
but
it
it's
is slow.
entertaining.
The
And
the
it
whole
is slow, right?
the
But it's
whole third of the beginning of the movie, that whole third is very
right.
slow.
You're right. That's true.
You
It's
know,
true.
until the things start to happen when we meet Willy Wonka, but up until
Absolutely.
then, it's pretty much one dimensional, that
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know.
And it's slow. It's true. It's
Now,
slow.
if you
I'm
want go
entertained,
go
but
go go back to '66
yeah,
for the producers, okay? Gene Wilder, Zero Mostel. That again, that is one funny movie.
agree.
Um, you've got a song in there called "Springtime for Hitler."
Right.
If nobody's ever seen this movie, I don't want to give it away, but it may not be politically correct by today's
You
standards,
think?
but you're talking about a ridiculous funny movie, and you know Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder both are equally funny in this film, and
Yeah.
Kevin Mars, what's his name?
Yeah. I think it's Kenneth
Kenneth
Morris.
Mars,
Yeah, Kenneth Morris.
Kenneth Mars, Dick Shawn. I mean, you
Yeah.
got some funny people in this movie.
Yeah.
Fast forward to '72, you've got Young Frankenstein. All right.
Oh, right.
Now, no matter how many times I see that movie, I still laugh. I
Right.
mean, I actually laugh out loud
Yeah.
because that's a movie that holds up.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's a movie that holds up. But look at
Mel
the
Brooks.
cast. Again, Mel Brooks, and look at the cast.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think I was going to say you really there's no pattern to say like, oh, action movies or comedies or dramas hold up better. It doesn't matter. It's just a matter of I think it's just a matter of the director's style, his choice of cutting, his the pacing. Pacing is like everything with these movies, you know.
Oh, well, all right, here,
Jaws is
let's talk.
75, right?
Yeah.
And you know, I know young people that can love that movie and can watch it
Yes.
over and over again,
Yeah.
and like it never gets old, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be 50 years old,
Yeah, I know.
Hell, I
Let's go.
mean, Wizard of Oz is ridiculously old. You know what's
Yes.
really strange?
What?
I just recently was talking about this with my boss. He's the one who brought it up. He was saying, he goes, you remember when we were like really young, like we were like, he's a couple of years
Yeah.
younger than us, just a couple. All right.
Okay.
But he's like, remember when we were like young? He said like, we were like 20. So for me, that would have been like around, no, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that right. I'm thinking
83.
about more like when I was about, for me, let's say when you're a kid, okay, then you can start to remember pretty well of like movies that you saw as a kid that
Yeah.
you can say you can actually really remember pretty well watching it. Let's say like The Wizard of
Oh.
Oz, right? The
Oh,
Wizard of
yeah.
Oz, for example, okay, was in 39, 38, right? Whatever it was.
39.
Yeah. So now if you're watching that on TV,
Yeah.
in your case, let's say 1970, right?
Oh, no, prior to that.
Okay.
Oh, I was a little kid and scared of the flying monkeys when that came on TV.
Right.
So now you're talking probably 63, 64.
Wow.
First
Yeah.
time I saw that movie, I was a little kid, very
Right.
small.
Right.
And the witch scared me and the monkey scared me.
But you
Yeah.
didn't think about the fact that that movie in the 60s
Yeah.
was already like 25 years old. You're
Of
talking
course
about.
not. It wouldn't even dawn on me. No.
Right. Isn't that weird though? I mean, we think about like how time goes and we don't think about like, it was only 25 years earlier. It seems like it was like when you look ahead now, things seem
Yeah.
like they were so much longer ago, but at the time, like in other words, like, the world just looks so different in just 20 something years.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not making any sense to you, am I? I'm saying that
No.
like
You seldom do. So let's talk about
right.
good directors. So we've already talked about Mel. Let's talk about Richard Lester. All right. Richard Lester brought us the Beatles in A Hard Day's Night, and then after that he brought us Help, and Richard Lester brought us the original Three Musketeers.
He
with
also brought us Funny Thing Happened on the Way to Forum.
Yes,
Yeah.
true. That's right.
That's why I think that's one of the reasons why it's
Yeah,
one of my
that's
favorites.
why that movie is so. That's why that movie is so good.
Yeah.
I mean, a good director will make a crappy movie into a great movie most of the time.
Yeah.
Um,
I gotta disagree with you a little bit on the Help one. The Beatles, The Help.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the movie, but I just seen it recently, and I was like, I remember liking it a lot more.
Well,
Again,
it's campy. It's campy.
Not just that, it's also just like, I don't know, it's not as funny as I thought it was, or I remember it being. You
Right.
might think so, but,
No,
you
no, it's not as funny as we thought it was.
oh, okay,
It's not.
you agree, alright.
First time I saw it, I was 8 years old,
Wow,
not maybe 9.
yeah.
It
That was what,
came on
like,
the
around
T
65 that movie was,
it
right? Something
it
like that.
66. That movie came out in
Oh,
66, and I
okay.
probably saw it in 67 because it came on the TV, I think, the year later. But I remember laughing, I remember being entertained.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, I watched it
that
every time it was on TV.
there you go.
Every time that movie was on TV, I'd watch it.
Now
Every time.
I think A Hard Day's Night holds up better because it's it's funny, but it's a little more serious too.
Right,
It's a
right.
day in the life versus, what seems like 2 weeks in the lives of the Beatles. So let's
Oh,
fast
really?
forward.
I never
Yeah,
realized that.
let's fast forward to 1980.
Okay.
All
1980,
right,
wow, alright.
you had movies like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, right? Supposed to be a comedy, but
Yeah,
have a hard time calling it. Although there are some funny moments in that movie.
yeah.
Um,
That's typical of Cameron Crowe. If you go
yep,
you watch that one, you
yep,
watch, Jerry Maguire,
yep.
you watch,
Breakfast Club.
ugh, no, he wasn't Breakfast Club.
Okay,
That's, the other guy. I can't think of his
all
name.
right,
Who's the other
all right.
director? John
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah.
not
I know who
John
you're talking about.
Huston. John
No,
Huston.
another John. Yeah,
Right. Yeah, I can't think of his name right now. Yeah, he did all those Breakfast Club, 16 Candles, Weird
yep,
Science.
yep,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Again, they might have been entertaining back then, but I guarantee if you to watch any of those movies now, it falls flat. It doesn't hold up.
Breakfast Club is still pretty popular, and it's popular with the young
Yes,
people. It holds up for
yes,
them to some
yes.
extent. It doesn't have the humor that I thought it had. It doesn't have the pacing I thought it had, but it's still entertaining. It still moves along. It's a little dragged. Yeah, we
Right.
just like with the attention span keeps getting shorter and shorter. Movies get quicker and quicker. And
Yes.
they get dumber and dumber.
Yes, they do.
Oh, but you know what? I will say, to the most part, at least there seems to have been a resurgence when it comes to television stuff. There's been a couple of Netflix series and other series like on Amazon that you and I both have seen. Maybe
Yes.
not together, but we both have seen and
Excellent,
we've talked about
excellent,
that
excellent
have been.
stuff.
Yeah, so there's been a resurgence now in good writing again. And the
Well,
pacing is there, and the.
the stuff that's coming out of Netflix and Amazon just blows away regular broadcast TV, or at
Right,
least the sitcoms,
right.
if you can even call them that. I mean, look, I'm sorry. The last funny show to be on television ended in 1998 with Seinfeld. I mean, after that ended, that was it. I don't think there were any more funny shows.
That's your opinion. I
That's my
kind of
opinion.
agree with you,
That's my
but then
opinion.
again, I mean, we're not watching stuff. I have, occasionally watched a one episode of, stuff in the last 20 years, and I've been like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's just, there's a different kind of comedy that
Yes.
that has kind of taken over. I kind of want to call it the Office
Nerd,
comedy,
the
like the
nerd.
show The
No,
Office, you
nerd.
know.
How about what about nerd comedy? There's a lot of those nerd comedies
Yes.
out there
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
That got really popular.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, The Big Bang Theory is
Yep.
it's made its name because of that,
Yep.
you know? And there's been a lot of shows that have had pretty good runs because of that, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
Yes.
but yeah, television comedy, I don't know, where it is, and but when it comes to the streaming stuff, even comedy has just changed completely. Don't you think so? Comedy is
Yeah.
not, the same
Well,
anymore. When was
it's
the
not the
last
same.
when was the last comedy you watched? I don't mean like an old one. I mean, what's the most, if you can even think, what's the most recent comedy that you watched?
That I
It
found funny.
Yeah, I bet you're gonna go back a while. I have to scratch my head and go, was it Yes Man? And was that really that funny? And that's
Um,
2008, I think that was, and that's a
there's
long
a
time ago
movie with
already.
Danny DeVito called Drowning Mona. That movie is funny.
How old is
Um,
that?
uh, 2000 something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
it's not new and it's not that old, but it's 2000 something.
Yeah, but I bet in the last 10 years, it's not gonna be something that you and I are gonna think is that funny. That
No,
comedy, is
no.
just weakened, you know?
Um, basically, yeah. Well, we lost Robin Williams, so that a lot of comedies went, stopped at that point when you lose Robin Williams.
He was getting older too, but you're right. You're right.
Um, you, you know, um, yeah, funny movies, they're just far and few in between. But I think the other thing is how we look at them, and I think again, what we find funny, I think changes over time. I think our personal view of what we find funny changes. I think it gets more sophisticated the older we get. That's the
Oh,
thing.
okay.
It's all right. Oh, comedies. Okay, you
Oh,
know
that
what I
makes
found?
sense. That makes
Now,
sense.
I like the Wes Anderson movies. Okay, those little
I know
weird,
you do.
quirky indie movies. All right.
Right.
So a movie that I found funny, and it's not knock down, drag out, fall on your face funny, is the Royal Tenenbaums with Gene Hackman. And
Right.
Gene Hackman is ridiculously funny in this movie, and he doesn't even seem like he's trying.
Right.
Um, that movie I love.
But that's a
Um,
while already. I mean, you're
that's a
talking
while.
about
That's early
like
two
that could be
thousands,
right.
2003, 2004, maybe.
Right. Anderson's had a bunch of more movies since then, and you've watched them and you've been
Yes,
entertained by them. I
and
know you
yes,
have.
I have. I
Right.
just love that quirky indie stuff. Um, oh man,
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, it's not you can't make the same movies. You wouldn't be able to. You could never oh god, you could never make a Blazing Saddles now, you know.
oh
You
no,
could never make that, that kind of crazy
yeah.
completely politically incorrect kind of
Well,
thing. You could never
How about Team America? Team
Oh,
America.
I barely remember it, but yeah, that was off the wall. Oh my god.
I left like a mental patient. I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
to me, but I am a mental patient. But I mean, that movie was nothing but marionettes, but ridiculously funny. I mean, it had some really funny moments in it.
Yeah.
That movie to me holds up. I look at it and I still laugh. I
I
find
that movie isn't all that old, and that's from those guys, right? I think that was
yes,
the guys who did what TV
yes,
show did they do? I can't think of it right
yes,
now.
that show. Yeah, South
Yeah,
Park.
that show. Yeah, right, that
That
show.
show. Yeah, which I never watched.
Oh,
Um,
really? You never watched that show?
no, I never watched South Park. I wasn't interested in it.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep.
I would have thought that you did.
No, I didn't watch it.
Huh. That's
Yep.
interesting.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
Who knew?
so you got any movies that you maybe have watched recently that you might have found funny at some point, but you just were disappointed and you didn't find funny at all?
I'm gonna tell you that here's the thing too. And this is very true. Um, if you look at like, IMDb, right? You know that website, right? You can look
Yes.
up, yeah, right. You look up IMDb and you look up, the genre definition of a lot of movies, and you'd be really surprised. Like, wait, that's a comedy? Yeah, the Guardians of the Galaxy movies are listed under comedy. Granted, they're also listed under action and sci-fi, but they have those as comedies because there's
Yeah.
some comedic elements. There's a funny
Yes.
line in there, you
Yes.
know. Um, there's movies. Uh, you saw Coda, right? The one
No.
with
No.
the ones
I
the
know.
family who's
No.
oh, you didn't see it.
No. I
I
didn't
thought
see
you
it.
did see Coda
No.
with the deaf parents and the girl
Didn't see
who
it.
oh, you didn't see
Didn't
it.
see it.
Okay.
Didn't see
They
it.
had that as a comedy.
Really?
Granted comedy slash drama. And I'm like, really? I'm like, so you'd be surprised that things that, fall under as comedy,
Yeah.
but like I'm trying to roll myself back right now and think, and go back a year. Well, I did, you know what? Palm Springs. I know you did see that with us.
Yes, I did.
That was the time travel one. That's listed
Yeah.
as a comedy. I enjoyed that, and that falls into that. I know it's not the same at all like Wes Anderson, but it's got this independent kind of film, kind of quirky, slightly
Yeah.
not more.
Yeah.
The Anderson stuff is way more quirky, but it's got that that quirky thing going for it, and yeah, no, that's no laugh out belly laughs. It's not
Right.
slapstick comedy, but
right.
I
It's
but I
not the
enjoyed
Three
that in its
Stooges.
comedy.
Right.
I enjoyed that it's in the comedy. Going back, maybe let me try to think back further than that. Some movies again they have comedy elements, and they're not. It's like it's hard to find a dead straight out comedy. You know,
Yes.
Zombieland
Yeah.
movies are considered comedy slash horror, because it's
Again, it has its moments.
right,
It
exactly,
it has well,
exactly.
it's tongue in cheek. So right off the bat, there's going to be some funniness in it. It's not
Yeah,
taken serious. It's not.
yeah.
Look, it's not Night of the Living Dead. It's Zombieland.
Hey, there's a lot of seriousness in the Pirates movies, and they even fall into slash comedy, and there's a lot of
Yes.
seriousness in those things,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just the idea of comedy is not what it was,
No.
50, 40, 30 years ago, it's not, it's comedy light or comedy slash action,
Yeah.
comedy
Perfect
slash
example.
horror, right?
In 1982, Porky's, the movie Porky's, the
Oh,
original, the
okay.
first one came out.
Yeah.
And back then, I thought the movie was funny.
Straight out comedy.
Straight
Right.
out comedy. And I watched
Right.
it recently, and that's when I realized how sexist it is.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of the jokes just fall flat. They don't hold up. Why? What's changed? The movie is still the same. What's changed is my perspective of what I think is funny has changed.
Right. Right. What about the
so
pacing? How was the pacing? Was it grueling? Or
Pacing's not
bad?
not bad. A
Okay.
lot happens in
Yeah.
between the beginning and the end of the movie. A lot happens.
Right. Right.
But yeah, that movie was hysterical the first time I saw it. I remember, laughing out loud.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, I gotta go probably all the way back to Yes Man as the last, and it's not even that much of a comedy.
yeah.
I mean that it's like, like I'm hysterical laughing at it. It's got its moments. There has not been one of those to me. I can't remember a movie where I was like,
How about
what was
Ace
the last movie
Ventura?
where you were in tears crying,
Did you s-
laughing? That's what I'm thinking,
Oh,
like through the most of the movie. All the movies we just mentioned that are more recent
yeah.
ones, you didn't spend that movie like in tears, right? Exactly. You didn't
No.
spend, right, exactly. When was the
No.
last movie, but you were, you
Don't
couldn't breathe
remember.
because you were laughing so much through the whole
No,
movie.
I don't remember.
Right.
Although
Gonna go back a while.
there's just that one scene in Porky's that where everybody cracks up.
Yeah.
That scene is still funny. But other than that, no, I haven't had a good belly laugh in the theater in a long time.
Right. Right.
Um,
That's sustainable through even half the movie.
yeah, those are those movies. They're rare when you can laugh out loud like now early Jerry Lewis movies. Some of his movies were like that, where you would just laugh out loud.
When we were
belly laugh.
kids, I've tried to watch a couple of those old ones just more recently, and I was like,
I
"Whoa,
know.
wait a minute!" I watched a Matt Helm movie recently, and I was like, "Oh my
Oh
god,
my
oh
gosh!
my god!" Besides being ridiculously
Yeah,
politically
sexist.
incorrect and sexist, and just
yes,
the pacing was just like, oh
yes,
my god, it's like
horrible.
needles in my eyes,
Yes, I get it. I do.
right?
Yeah.
That was never the Matt Helm. Did you ever read Matt? I know you're a pretty avid reader, and you were. And
I've never read the Matt Helm series.
But I'm guessing the Matt Helm stuff was meant to be serious, right? I guess the idea was
No,
like, oh,
I don't know.
okay,
I mean,
all
I
right.
mean,
I know it was like an American answer to James Bond,
Bond,
which
right?
were serious. All those books were,
Well, so was the Flint. James Coburn's character in like Flint,
that seemed
and the
kind of like,
Flint, the 2 or 3 Flint movies, same
yeah,
thing. They put him up against James Bond. Oh well, here, perfect example. The Man from Uncle. Oh my
yeah, but
gosh!
that seemed
Now,
serious. Where Flint
I'll tell you,
and
I'll
Matt
tell you
Helm seemed
what.
like,
I'll tell you what.
tongue in cheek, right?
I laughed more at The Man from Uncle.
Oh, really?
Probably. Oh my gosh, I was on the floor.
But it's not meant to be funny,
No,
That's
what's funny about it is
right?
the dialogue is horrible. First
Oh,
of all.
gotcha.
The situations are ridiculous. You could sit there and pull this movie apart as you're watching it and going, "Are you kidding?" The fight scenes are so badly done with the stuntmen that they don't even try and make it look like it's
Wow.
the 2 stars that are fighting.
Right.
It's just
yeah.
it's as if a 10-year-old wrote the script.
Can you find The Man from Uncle on TV? Is that
I
on?
found, when you go into the dollar store, Dollar General, and you go over
Sure.
to you go over to the $3 movies that are there.
Yeah.
Well, I found a Man from Uncle compilation. It had like 10 episodes on it.
Okay.
And
The
I'm
best
like,
ones, probably.
"Ooh, No, and so here's the thing: when that show came out in 66, 65, 66,
Wow.
I was only 6 or 7.
Yeah.
I remember watching the show and thinking it was the coolest show on TV.
That next to
You had
Batman, right?
the great right, exactly. You had that great theme music. You had that really suave Robert Vaughn as Napoleon Solo. Of course, I didn't understand half of what I was seeing because I was a kid. So when I
Yeah.
found this DVD and
Uh-huh.
I said to my ex, I said, "Oh, we got to take this home and watch this because now I can really appreciate it as an adult."
Right.
Well, we put the first one on, and after 10 minutes, I just sat there shaking my head, thinking, "This is what I missed. This is what I couldn't wait to see."
Right. Right.
And so her and I started picking the show apart, and they were only 1 hour episodes. But you'd really have to watch a couple to appreciate it. I can't explain how bad they were, but they were terrible. I mean, everything about this show was bad.
They black and white?
No, it's color.
They were color.
It's almost as if remember Police Squad?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, it's almost as if this show, Man from Uncle, is meant to be a satire because you can't take it seriously because it's just the weapons that they have, the dialogue that they have, the
Right.
situations are ridiculous.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so really entertaining because it was funny to me, not because I was intrigued by the espionage or the great prowess of these two guys.
Right.
David McCollum does actually a pretty good job considering the material he has to work with, but Robert Vaughn is he's a clown. He's
Oh,
just
see, an
he's just
unintentional
he
comedy.
first of all, he talks like this. You can
Yeah.
barely understand a
Yeah.
word he says. He whispers a monotone.
Yeah. Oh boy.
And I'm like, are you trying to be debonair? Because it's not working.
No, it was
It
like
was
you said it. Unintentional satire.
it was
Right?
unintentional satire. There you go.
Yeah. I really would love to hear from people, in our comments, which we very rarely get, of
Yeah.
like, what was the last really good comedy? And I don't
There you
mean
go.
something old, right? What think back,
Right.
tell
Let's
us.
put that out
I'm
there.
curious to know. Yeah, really. I'd
Please,
love to hear. I'd
if
love
you're
to hear that.
listening, leave a comment. Tell us what you think
Exactly.
was the last funny movie that made
Yeah.
you laugh.
Right.
And
it
we will
really made you
discuss it
laugh.
in the next show.
And
So
we will, which
give
means we're
us
probably
something
not
to
going to have
talk
anything
about.
to discuss because we're probably not going to get any comment.
Yeah, right.
You want to take a break and we'll come back with your favorite segment?
Looney Laws. Oh yeah, I live for it, Bill.
All right. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
It's time for Looney Laws of the Land.
And welcome to another edition of Looney Laws of the Land. And as always, we go to a state that has laws apparently in their book that who knows if they're being enforced, but they're in there. And this week we're going to
Oregano. We're going to oregano.
Oregano. Oregano. Yeah, we're going to the state of
Where are we going?
Oregon.
Oregon.
Oregon. It sounds like one of the people that would be in like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Oregon.
Oregon.
Yeah. The second head elf.
Right.
Elf Oregon.
Elf Oregon.
Who saves the day?
Well, I'm going to need his help because there's some wacky laws here, Ray. Oh my gosh.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay,
Hit me.
well, and this is a big city. This first one, Portland.
Eugene?
Right? Portland, Oregon's big.
Yes. Yeah.
And apparently it's against the law to walk down the street with your shoes untied, Ray.
Wow.
So good thing a lot of us have those slip-ons.
Yeah. or at least Velcro snaps. So
Why?
shoes untied.
Why would that ever
Against the
ever
law.
have been a law ever?
I don't know, but I really think you're infringing on personal rights here. You know what I mean? We really are.
Yeah.
Really, think about it.
Yeah.
You talk
Okay.
about Big Brother snooping on you. You really shoes untied. You go to jail. Wow.
I don't know what to
What
say.
happens? What happens if you rob somebody at gunpoint? What do they do? Behead you right there in the town square? Off
Yeah.
with his head. Gee,
But if you're
Willikers.
going to do that, make sure when you're running, you don't have any shoes on. This way they can't.
I see. I
He's
see.
just running. He
Yeah,
doesn't have shoes that have no laces.
Unbelievable.
So also in Portland,
Yeah.
it's against the law to perform a wedding ceremony on an ice skating rink.
Oh, for crying out loud!
Why would you do that?
maybe
It's slippery.
maybe the woman getting married was one of those roller derby chicks, and she decided to have it done there. And then somebody came in and said, "Hey, wait a minute, what are you doing there?" And they said, "We're getting married." And they said, "Well, we need to look into this." And so,
Yeah.
I have no explanation for this. I mean, I can think up some really weird crap, but I
Oh,
have no explanation
yeah.
why it's
Oh,
against the law that
right,
you
right.
can't get married in a roller rink.
Right.
Why?
I don't know. You got me.
Me? Go ahead.
Oh, apparently it is against the law to wear your roller skates into a bathroom. Now, again,
Oh,
I mean,
you're killing me here.
I would hope that at least the one place you can is inside a roller rink. Because,
Well,
you're drinking some drinks, you're going around
yeah,
that
yeah,
that's
yeah,
oval circle thing, whatever it
yeah.
is, and you're like,
Okay.
damn, I gotta pee. Oh
Yeah.
no, you can't, you can't roll yourself into the bathroom, Why would that ever have happened? Who cares?
I
How
again,
about the girls that have to go serve? Those on those the drive up diners where she goes
yeah,
out on her roller
yeah,
skates.
yeah,
Oh
the
no,
burger
sorry,
places, yeah.
Betty, you're gonna have to take off your roller skates. You can't go into the
I
bathroom,
don't
and they
know.
sit down anyway.
Yeah,
Maybe that's why. Because if you're standing at a urinal, you could fall, and that could be pretty
that's true.
bad. You're
Yeah,
holding on to something, and then you
yeah,
slip. That could be
yeah,
pretty painful. So now that I'm
yeah,
thinking
and
about
to
it,
put your face in the urinal, that would be
ooh,
bad.
ow, ooh,
Yeah,
that's yeah. You
yeah,
roll backwards.
yeah. Roll
Ooh, right.
backwards and face
Oh,
plant
and then who
right
knows
into
what's
the
going to happen
urinal.
to your what?
Yeah.
Wow.
What's the you know what? All right, go ahead. What's next? What's next?
Okay, in Portland, you are not allowed. It is illegal to ride a sled that's attached to a car. Oh man,
Oh,
we used to do that as kids.
we used to do that as kids.
Skitching.
Skitching.
It's
There
crazy
was no
stuff.
sled.
We're not even a sled, right? We
There
just,
was no sled. It was just our feet and our
right. And
shoes.
then you hope it's not going to be a patch where there's no
Oh
snow.
yeah, the patch was very exciting because then you went flying. Yeah. Oh, here comes a patch. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, there was this thing we used to do on Long Island. It was called skitching. So,
Yeah, I'm sure it
you'd
wasn't
wait.
just Long Island, but
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know who else did this, but there was a lot of snow on the ground. Cars would go, not fast, and you'd wait for a car to go by, and you'd run after it, crouch down, and grab the bumper,
Right, right.
and basically you'd be skiing.
Marty McFly in
Yeah,
only
well,
without the skateboard.
without the skate, your shoes would be rolling along
Right.
on the snow, and you would do fine until, like Billy said, you got a patch of blacktop,
Right.
and then things really got interesting.
Whoops.
Whoops.
Then you dragged.
Yeah, skitching. It was fun. It was
Okay,
fun.
Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it is against the law to use canned corn as bait for fishing. Is canned corn really that? First of all, how do you bait corn? That seems
I like
kind
to
of
know how do you get the hook through that can? That's what I want to know. And that better be one hell of a. That's got to be one hell of a big hook too. What are
I
you
don't know.
fishing
I don't know what
for,
else to
like
say about that. Okay, I wasn't even
orca,
thinking that. That's hilarious.
orca whales? I mean, can't use a can of corn.
Do they like
Yeah.
corn?
Let me
I
ask you.
thought
Do you
fish like
think
fish. Doesn't
do you
fish
think
like they like things that are like
they
that
do?
are
They like
fishy or
they
eels or
they
wormy?
like they like killifish. They like
Right.
squid.
They're
Yeah,
cannibals.
yeah,
They don't
corn.
want corn.
Okay. Do you
Nobody
think they
likes
can
corn. Corn
do you
doesn't even
think
like us. We eat corn and it
no?
comes out the same way.
Yeah, and it looks the same too. You can see it the next day. How about
Right.
this? Do you think the fish can read the side of the can and know that it's corn and go, "Oh, no, I'm not falling for that one"? What the hell? Again, another state I never want to visit ever. What else you got?
Okay, this can't be true.
Oh, want to bet? Go ahead.
Apparently, it's against the law to whisper dirty things into your lover's ear during times of intimacy. That's when you want to do it.
Oh, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
How could that have ever have happened?
Now they're telling you what you can do in the bedroom now? You can't whisper.
Ooh,
And who presses charges? The dog?
right.
Hey, you're never gonna guess who what yeah. I mean, come on.
Right, intimacy. It's just you and that person.
Intimacy.
Maybe the dog is listening.
I don't
The
know.
fly on the wall.
Really, how do you uphold that law? Tell me. How do you do
I
that?
don't know. I don't know. So I don't know
Unbelievable.
how current this is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's saying Oregon, it's no longer illegal. Right, no longer illegal. But it used to be
Yeah.
illegal to buy and sell marijuana, but it was illegal to smoke marijuana. You couldn't buy or sell, but you could smoke it. Now it's doesn't matter. It's legal no matter what. You can, I guess, you could buy and sell, smoke. You can you can have a whole
Nope.
party with yourself. All right,
No, not
whatever.
me. I'm drug free. What else you got?
What's a running board on a car?
Oh, a running board on a card. Older cars, where you'd open up the door and step in, there was a board there stuck
Oh
out about
God.
4 to 5 inches, and it was
Oh
called a
God.
running board. And it would run from the front fender all the way along the bottom to the back fender.
Oh God. Well, apparently babies can't be carried on the running board. Oh, thank God.
Yeah,
First of all,
yeah.
babies can't be carried on the running board. I'm assuming while this thing is being driven,
Right.
what are you holding on? And how are you holding a baby on there? What the hell?
You
You
have to be an
visualize this?
Yes, I can. You have to be an acrobat and have really good,
That poor baby.
yeah,
Oh, poor baby.
balance. You need real good balance to do that.
Wow.
Can't hold the baby on the running board. I'm assuming that the rest of that is that an adult is on the running board holding the baby. Because how would a baby be able to stay on the running board?
I hope so. I don't know. I'm afraid to think about it. All right, moving along.
Yes.
Apparently, in the town of Hood River, Oregon, it is
Yeah.
illegal to juggle unless you have a permit. Who are you bothering? Really?
Oh.
Well, if you're juggling, some of those guys that juggle like knives,
Yeah. Yeah.
okay, maybe that, and you're, doing it,
Chainsaws, yeah,
and
stuff like
right, and
bowling
you're doing it
pins.
right near a bunch of people, a bunch of
Yeah.
babies, let's
Okay.
say.
Well, then that's a good law. That protects people.
Okay. It didn't
right.
say though. I mean, if you're just juggling balls, what if you're juggling your own balls? I mean, that you bought. No, never mind. Okay. So apparently in Springfield, there's a Springfield, Oregon. Who knew?
Okay.
It's probably a Springfield every state.
In every state.
Right. It's against the law to own a pet reptile, unless you are a school or a city.
Oh, really? Are turtles reptiles?
Yeah.
Okay,
They
so
don't know
you
what
can't
they're
own a
talking
turtle?
about. I don't know.
Okay. All right. I don't know.
I don't know.
No reptiles. Okay.
Okay, this isn't fair. Apparently, it's against the law for 2 people to share a single drink. Come on. Really?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I wish I was. Let somebody try to enforce that one.
2 people can't share a single drink. What this is, I'll tell you what. Very intrusive into people's lives, Oregon is.
Yeah.
Really is. And if they think they're progressive, they're one of those blue states that's really progressive, they got another thing coming. I'll tell you right now.
Oh my God. All
I'm
right.
not happy.
In
I'm not happy.
Marion, Oregon, apparently it's against the law to eat a donut while you're walking backwards on a city street.
Again with the donuts walking
right.
backwards.
And I'm like, if you can do that, that's a good trick.
There's an epidemic
Eating
of
and
people walking backwards eating, and this is against the law. Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't think that Oregon has kangaroos, but apparently in Myrtle Creek, Oregon, it's against the law to box with a kangaroo. Because you'll probably kick your ass.
I was going to say, because you might lose.
Right.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be really good boxers.
Yeah. That's probably a good law.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That those guys can box.
Yeah.
I wonder how that first started. These guys someone got too close to a kangaroo and he just what was that? He probably didn't even know. Probably knocked them out, got up and like, hey, did you see that? And he said that to the kangaroo, and the kangaroo did it again. Because you probably wouldn't have believed that it was a kangaroo when you were the first person that had that happen to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And you'd be like, wait a minute, I didn't even hear the bell to start. Not fair. It took me by surprise.
All right. And here we go. My last one. Apparently in where are we in? I don't even know where are we in. Where did I say we are? We're in Oregon. Yeah,
Oregon.
Right. All right.
Yes.
It's just too hard to apparently it's against the law to leave a container of human waste on the side of the highway. Well, thank God for that one.
A container of human waste. All right, so you know what happened?
You can do a bag.
What happened? What happened?
Poop in
Bill?
a bag and leave it there.
What happened?
Someone put poop in a bag and they left it there.
Or a bag, or a
stepped in it,
or a bucket, or a box. And somebody came along, stepped on it, and said, "This should be illegal. Damn it!" There you go.
Yeah.
You know that's what happened.
All right. The flaming poop. That's the bad one.
Yeah,
Put
that's
the
the
bag
bad
out
one.
there, light it up, and like
Yeah.
someone's got to step on it, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, the old,
yeah.
one of those old pranks.
yeah.
Speaking of pranks,
Yeah.
I'm never going to Oregon.
No, never.
Yeah.
Never going to Oregon. Nope.
I
no
mean,
need
where
for
is
me.
Oregon?
I don't know. It's up there near Washington.
Oh, okay. It's all the way on the other
I
side.
think it's below. I think it's between Washington and California. Maybe that's why it's so wacky.
Yeah.
You know,
All right.
between
Well-
Washington and California. Yeah.
All right.
Is that a show?
Lord of the Rings. ... Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, there comes an end to another show, and
Yeah.
it was been fun. It was
Yeah.
been fun. You like that way I
It wa-
speak?
Yeah, I do.
It was been fun.
Yeah. Speak. I like the way you.
You
So I
think
felt like-
I, Ray?
I'm talking like Yoda now. I think
Don't you love that?
I think I'm tired.
Tired are you? That's the way he would say it. Tired are
Tired.
you?
Tired am I?
Tired.
Yeah.
Tired am I? Oh, tired are you?
So what's for dinner?
What do you mean?
Well, I'm at your house. What's for dinner?
I don't know. You bringing?
I'll spring for pizza.
Okay, that sounds good. And we're gonna go eat
All right.
pizza, and we're gonna say goodbye till the next time.
Yeah.
And go ahead, give
And,
us your usual sign off.
Hasta la vista, baby. No,
That's
it's-
not your usual sign off.
That's right. Be good to each other out there, okay?
Right. Right.
Okay.
Be good to
Next time.
yourself. Be good to yourself. Can you be
Till
good to
next time.
yourself? That's the
But
same
not
thing
in
too.
public. Don't be
Right,
good to yourself in public. You go to
Be good
jail.
to yourself, but not in public. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Got it.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Please check out our website, pullyourselftopieces.com.
That's right.
And you can subscribe to the show in Google and Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Castbox, Pocket Casts, Radio Public, Stitcher, and YouTube, or via RSS, so you'll never miss an episode.
And if you enjoy our show, don't forget to give us a high rating.
And remember to tell your friends about the show.
Thanks for listening to our show, and thank you to freesounds.org and Gottlieb, Audio Mirage, Plasterbrain, Cognito Perceptu, FK Prod, Mirage Hazer, Shadow Wisp, DBoss, Viku Seru, Intra Environmental Sound Project, Julian Nicholas, Carmelo Mike, G Kill Hour, 140-178 Sound, CMU Sound Design, Alan Mchi, Der Super Anton, Eric H2000, Bulbastray, FK Phantom, Ultra Dust, Ada Records, Stuart Colborn, Debroid, Cubidup, GJ, Syntax Seed, Inspector J, Astounded, Madge 061785, Just Invoke, Short Record, Lorenzo Sue, and I'm Mackenzie. CreativeCommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/legal code.